Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of QUIP, the Quantum Unity International Program. And today we are going to have a very interesting discussion on why is there suffering? We know that suffering and chaos in the world right now are very rampant. We have heard from many of our clients that they feel that the chaos and the suffering is becoming more and more over time, day after day, day after day. And so one of our clients actually brought this question to us at the end of one of her readings and said, Sue and Heidi, why is there suffering? And we said, what a brilliant topic to bring to our QUIP episode. So here we are today. And again, we've got our beautiful Bobby Roundtree, born medium from Vancouver Island. Bobby, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Heidi?
Awesome. Thank you. And we've got Sue Delaney from Love Elemental. She's our Canadian top psychic trance channel. How are you today, Sue?
I'm fantastic. Thank you, Heidi. I'm excited to engage in this conversation.
Me too.
I'm excited to engage in suffering.
Yeah.
There's so much
So
to learn.
I really do think that there is a lot to learn on this topic, and I think that my intention anyway at the end of this discussion is hopefully to give our audience some hope, a different perspective, maybe a different way to look at suffering, and let's really deep dive into why there is suffering on this planet. Bobby or Sue, do you have anything to say before we bring in the United Souls to guide us in this conversation?
Bobby?
Well,
Go for it.
anything that I have to say will actually start a whole new topic. My thinking is because, the levels of suffering. I actually don't see myself as a person who suffers, but if I told people what goes on, they might say, "Oh my gosh, you suffer," and I would say, "Shh, don't tell me." That's what I would say. Don't tell me I'm suffering, or I might start thinking I'm suffering, and then what happens might turn into something else. Which, okay, yeah, okay, okay. So I'll premise it and conclude by saying, I believe that suffering is in the eye of the beholder.
Mm-hmm.
Suffering is born from want
Yeah.
or lack, and you can't feel want or lack unless you actually think you have want or lack, honestly, and that's what breeds the
Right.
suffering. Sue?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I agree. Absolutely, Bobby. I think suffering is very real. Absolutely. I've experienced a ton of it myself. But what I've come to realize, and even as recently as today, so it's like a work in progress of learning, but that suffering is really perspective bound. It's very much how I choose to view my experiences. And what I've really learned is that when I can approach any experience, no matter how, whether it would be, whether it would be one that would somebody would say that's a real terrible experience and you're going to suffer through it, or you're going to suffer as a result of it. If I can appreciate that experience, if I can find a space to grow some appreciation, what I've learned is that my perspective on the suffering, much like you've said, that shifts. So that has taught me something. That
Yeah.
has taught me that I can shift how I am interacting with a world that seems to be ripe with suffering. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. But it's to me also, though, there are different levels. We're Canadians, we're North Americans. And
Yes.
to be perfectly honest, I don't think our level of suffering is anywhere near the level of suffering felt by others around the globe. So, yeah, to speak to a Canadian level of suffering, yes, I agree completely. I think it is, geez, what I was going to say, they kind of flipped it right away and they want me to do something a little bit different, actually. So, which is what they do, isn't it? I thought I was talking about something else, but yeah, okie dokie. Suffering is everyone wants to feel normal or what
Mhm.
we think is normal. We want to go, no, I want it all to be like this. I want to ignore it. And that's what we do in the Western society, in my opinion. If you're suffering, go have a drink. Or if you're
Yes.
suffering, go take a pill. Or if you're suffering, go distract yourself. Don't look at what is actually going on. Turn your
Right.
back on it and start to pretend it isn't going to go on. And yeah, and then you will get a backache. But because that's what will happen if you do not address your suffering. But at the same time, yeah, your backache can be your suffering, right, Heidi? So, but that is born out of something else that's happening. Your sympathetic nervous system actually ignites with your energy and ignites with the water in your body. And the water in your body is the emotion in your body. So
Mhm.
it all moves together. And yeah, especially with what you suffer. Because to me, that is an epidermis on fire. That's actually what I see. I see people on fire when they have fibromyalgia. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's and I also want to bring up that we live in a very dualistic, well, not very, we live in a dualistic planet. That's what we're here to do. We're here, it's left or right, it's up or down, it's wrong
Sure.
or right. It's this dualistic perception that we live in, and we all have choice and free will. That's one of the biggest things on this planet, is why a lot of souls come here, because this is a learning planet. This is where we come to evolve very, very quickly in our souls. And so we have these different poles of experience, whether it be suffering, lack, all that, or whether it be love, joy, happiness on the other side. And it's almost like a pendulum, and it's actually a universal law where the pendulum goes very, very far on this side, is going to go exactly the same way very far on the other side as well. So I find that suffering a lot of the times is it's like a maybe someone can help me, I've forgotten the word, but it's a way of evolution. It's a fast way of growth. It's, you know what you don't want, now you know what you do want,
Yeah.
and the pendulum will swing this other way. And one of the things I like to think of is, if we can stay right in the middle and in neutrality, which holds the hand of satisfaction, if we can hold there in times of chaos, then the pendulum doesn't have very much room to swing back and forth.
Yeah.
Um, so I try, and if I'm in suffering, I try not to go to one extreme or the other, to just try and be in appreciation and do the pendulum swing very slowly,
Yeah.
very
And
minimally.
observe the pendulum rather than be affected by the pendulum. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
And I
Mhm.
think that's a really great point to make with respect to this global suffering that we see. You know, Bobby, you'd mentioned that as Canadians, as North Americans, not to diminish anybody's individual or collective
Yeah,
suffering
absolutely. Yeah.
at all, but to acknowledge that there are areas on the planet that seem to be more activated with conflict. And so, in those zones, in those areas, it's safe to say that those people are a lot more struggling and a lot more suffering. And so, but interesting to note that how we choose to observe even that level of suffering makes a difference, doesn't it? Because if we
Oh,
choose,
absolutely.
if we can remain in that point of neutrality, and as difficult as that is when we're observing the suffering of others, because those of us that are sensitive, those of us that are in these fields are so aware, and it's so disruptive, isn't it, to our systems? Not to mention the people that are suffering, you know, it's this whole thing, it feeds back. But what if we can find ourselves observing from a place of neutrality? Then is it possible that we can actually energetically, if everything we do, like we drop a stone in the water here, it ripples, right? Water every. What if we can stay neutral on our observation of the worst strife and struggling in the planet? And is it possible that we are somehow affecting or influencing that in a positive way?
Ah,
That
that's funny.
ripple, right? That
That's
ripple
what
out.
they were saying in my head. They were saying if you look at it from a place of empathy towards the suffering, because that's where you want to go. You want to think,
Yes.
oh, I want to feel sorry for you because, oh my gosh, I will feel for you. What if you looked at it and said, oh, what a great opportunity for you. I hope this turns out as positive as it possibly can. Sorry you had to suffer, but look what we're learning from your suffering. Because you can really, if you don't ruminate within your suffering, you can actually learn from it and move forward
That's
from
right.
it. At least that has been my experience
Right.
with the things that if especially my lack of food. That one I have learned to actually move through and move with and such, and not see it as a suffering sort of thing. So yeah, it's how we look at it. How hard is that though, to watch
Oh,
the news and see what happens to especially women and children and say, "Ooh, I hope they learn from this and get stronger,"
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
than, "I
Yeah.
want to kill those
Yeah.
people who did that to her." That's immediately where my brain goes. I want to make the other person suffer who made the suffering happen.
absolutely.
I get that immediate thing, and then that actually then I'll stub my toe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because they said, "You
Absolutely.
wanted
Oh my
suffering."
gosh, that happens to Sue
Oh, it
All the
does.
time.
All
all
I
the
the
I
time.
time.
I don't have a lot of latitude for a lot of moving
Yeah,
into those kinds of
so we
zones.
expect more from you,
That I think
in my
so.
opinion. Yeah.
I
So I'm sorry,
reprimand
were
it
you acting
quickly.
like normals? Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You know, and it's interesting that to look at suffering from the perspective of, if we sort of go bigger into it, being willing to step in a place of disconnection from our true selves, you know, the
Mhm.
part of us that's non-physically focused, to when we step into the place where we want the person who caused the suffering to themselves suffer. Well, we're suddenly disconnected, aren't we? Immediately we're disconnected. And what are we disconnected from? Our authentic selves that are completely based in joy and love and higher vibration frequencies. So now we see the suffering, get the negative feelings, we immediately disconnect from
Mhm.
our higher selves. And then where does that leave us? Powerlessness to do anything to correct the suffering.
No, we
Now
just have
we
to
are
create more suffering.
we're just more, and then it
Yeah,
goes, and then it goes, and it goes. So what's the solution? How is part of the solution right here in this physical embodiment? We each our own sovereignty. What if we could choose how we are approaching the suffering? I'm not saying that's easy. We all agree it's very challenging, but why not put ourselves up for the challenge and to try to honor and embrace the suffering and listen to the language maybe it's speaking to us? What is it saying to us? Give
I
it a
agree.
voice.
Yeah,
And we might be able to find, if we can lessen our own perceptions, or adjust our perceptions of what our suffering is. What does it mean to suffer? Or does suffering mean growth and expansion and possibility and reuniting with our a- amazing self? Well, then, like you said, Bobby, then it's maybe something, it's got a bit of a positive twist on it.
yeah, yeah, and when you said, "Well, what should we do with that?" The voices in my head said, "Accept that suffering is part of life." Yep,
Hmm.
just accept it. There it is. It's part of life. The example that I get is so many people in my age group are retiring now. And I look at them and I think, "Oh, I take 2 days off and I feel like a slug after 2 days," but that's my own problems with myself. But I without challenges, without testing yourself, without making yourself move further, getting into I can't sit in complacency. I can't understand how others can. So to me, that is part of the whole thing. That every time I suffer, I learn something because suffering actually makes me go, "Oh, I need to fix this. So to fix this, I got to learn this, this, and this, and this, and this." That's actually how I learned about my Kundalini energy more because they
Okay.
put little balls of energy on my spine that caused me a great deal of um, physical awareness. I'll
Hmm.
put it that way. And that's helped me to learn more about my Kundalini. And then in that, when people come and sit with me, I go, "Oh, I'm seeing Kundalini with you. And because did this, I had to learn that. And that's how I'm helping you." I actually used
Absolutely.
to think that I was kind of their little thing that they flung around. "Here, Bobby, whack, whack, whack. Learn this, whack, whack, whack. You're not here for you, whack, whack, whack." That's what I had in my head. They just punished me constantly. So for other people, but that's not it.
That's another thing too that I've noticed, especially we work with a lot of leaders and with like the leading edge people that are leading the edge of helping in this new earth and this new awakening and this new ascension process. And if you're a leader and if you're a light worker and if you're here to help in this ascension process, you're probably going to have a lot of suffering, my friend, especially in the first part of your life, because you have to learn. How are you going to learn and teach others and be truly authentic in your approach and your understanding and your ability to actually sit down next to someone and say, I get it, I understand, and this is how I moved through it. How do you do that if you haven't on some level experienced it? We can learn a lot through books and everything, but I'm telling you, firsthand experience is pretty valuable in this new these new energies that are coming in. And so I look at it like that too. I look at my years and years and years of suffering as thank you. I appreciate you, because today I can now sit here and honestly sit with almost anybody and relate to almost anything, because
Yeah.
I have moved myself through my suffering to a point now where I know myself, and I can offer. I have something to offer and be truly, genuinely myself about it. Um, so I look at it on a different lens too, a different
Yeah.
perspective on how to look through at suffering.
Yeah, a movement forward. And honestly, when you were saying this, the example they gave me in my head was when I was a child and
Mm,
how I displayed every classic thing of a mental illness.
right.
Every was a mental ill. They even said she has a mental illness. You guys, you
Mhm.
better medicate her. And that it was a lot of emotional and mental anguish and suffering that would take me away from all other people in the room, take me away from anyone that I knew. But if I hadn't faced it and worked through it, if I didn't have parents who were so cheap they wouldn't medicate me, not even so cheap, I guess, but yeah. Anyway, so I picked the right parents. I totally
You did.
did. Totally did.
You
But
did.
yeah, that suffering going through that now I know. Now
Yeah.
actually the example that pops in my mind is the homeless guy. I used to run psychic fairs and we were cleaning up and a homeless guy walked into the psychic fair and he goes, I don't want to bother you. I just want to know if you can see them too. That's all he said to me. And I said, "Yes, I can see them."
Yeah.
He goes, "Thank God." And then he walked away with
Oh,
tears.
bless his
And
heart.
I thought, "Oh
Yeah.
my God, stay. Stay, pick up some tarot cards, do something else, meditate." But he walked away. I don't ever know what ever happened to that man. But I see so many homeless people and think, "Oh, you're just like me.
Mhm.
You just didn't get the same parents, you poor thing. I'm so sorry."
Mhm.
That's yeah.
Mhm.
Well, because we all want to be normal. We all want to be this idea of normal, but what the devil is normal?
What has society said is normal?
Yeah, right now was what yeah, exactly. Because well, even if you look at medicine commercials, Contact C actually comes to my mind because they used to have this commercial where people couldn't do anything because they were so sick, and then they took a Contact C, and now they can take on the day. It's like, no, no, no. Your body said, I'm sick. I need to rest. I need you to shut down just for a day. And you said, fuck you, buddy. I got to go to my accounting firm or I got to go work at Walmart. What the heck,
Mhm.
buddy? Yeah. So we do these things to ourselves or we tell ourselves to shut up. We don't want to hear the messages. We don't want to know these things. That's
Right.
why it's so extraordinary, Heidi, that you're making this decision. I had to make the decision because I can't take things and do what I do for a living. And I can't breathe a breath without doing what I do for a living. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Yeah,
Yep.
like, ugh.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, yeah, I didn't have a choice, but you do. So congratulations to you
Thank you.
for not wanting to be normal. Or maybe we are normal and they're abnormal.
Yeah.
Maybe when they medicate themselves, they become not us anymore. That's funny. Speaking of the us, that actually
Speaking of
just
the
popped in
us,
my
what
head.
a beautiful segue.
Yeah. Let's absolutely bring them
Lord
in.
knows what
So,
was in mine. Yeah.
so just for the audience members that maybe are new here, have never seen Sue Trent's channel before, and what Love Elemental is about, and the United Souls of Heaven and Earth are the collective of high white light beings. They're ascended masters, they're archangels, there's angels, there's extraterrestrials, there's fairies, there's elementals, there's everything and any type of metaphysical beings, high white light guides in the universe is part of the United Souls of Heaven and Earth. You'll probably also hear us call them the United Souls, and you will also we also call them the Us. So they've got many different names. And Sue will actually, she won't remember anything that she's channeling. So it's nice that she gets to join us beforehand and join in the conversation. And we'll bring them through.
Perfect. Thank you, Heidi. Okay, let's see what the United Souls has to say about this. We are here. We are here. We are here. We are here. Beloved friends of us, good day. Good day on to each and good day on to all. We see you, each of you, in your magnificence, in your robes, technicolor, your regalia. You might say to us, we do not know who you are, and so how can you know who we are? You see, we see you. We see your light, friends. We see your colors. We see who you are, who you really are, friends. And we want you to know immediately. We are so honored to pull up a seat at this table of light with each of you and with all of you. We want you to know that you are an emanation, unique in its expression of the all that is all that is all that is all. There is no other, not one that is like you, not one. And some of you may say to us, well, I have been told that over and over and over. And they have followed it by saying, goodness gracious, we do not want more than one of you. And we say to you, each of you, you are a unique emanation and you are so uniquely qualified to live this life expression of you. You might say to us, that is not what I've been told. And that is why we are having this conversation, because we want to invite you to come a little closer and to hear from us, your friends all nigh, just who we see the yous of yous to be. And why does that matter? Well, it matters quite a bit, because we believe that you might have an incomplete notion of you. You are not just who you see when you look in the mirror, friends. You are so much more. You are beyond physical. You are a non-physical expression, having a physical experience, human being human, we like to say. And when you look into the light of your own eyes, friends, in the mirrorscape of you, you can catch a little bit of a glimpse of your magnificence. Each of you and all of you, not one of you will be left behind, not ever. You are infinite. And so, why are we having this conversation? A conversation that is about suffering. Well, we just wanted to invite each of you up for a moment, up your own ladders of light, to shine and rise and shine, and to see what we see. Magnificence embodied, brilliance incarnate. And each of you, most of you, some of you, all of you, you might see something a little bit different of you. You might say, I am not enough. And that not enoughness, it has gotten deep into your skin. Become a lens, a filter. And it is not allowing you to see the full wholeness and holiness of you. That is all right. We are not chastising. Not at all. We are delighted and honored that you have chosen for but a moment of your sweet time, space, time experience to share it with us. To sit in our vibrational harmonic for a moment. And to realize and recognize, if just but for a breath, that there might be something to this. That there might be something to this idea that you are magnificent. Magnificent, we say. To all of you, all of you, all of you. No matter where you are, no matter who you are, and no matter what you are, and no matter why you are what you are. Brilliant, beautiful emanations of the all that is all that is all. And so why, old friends, if you are all of that and so much more, why, oh why, might you choose to experience something other than this? Could it be, might it be, that the reason that this suffering occurs is because you might have just for a moment, forgotten who you are. Just for a moment. And with that, you feel somewhat divided from your own potency and your own power. Let us say that again. You come to feel separated and divided from your own potency, your own divine potency. Each of you, all of you, all of you, all of you, each of you. Did we say all of you? And each of you, all of you. You are divine, friends, all of you. And when you come to this planetary experience expression in all of its glory, there is a little bit of gory, is there not? It is because the nature of this reality is two-sided duality, yes? And so you are always provided possibility, opportunity to remember who you are, to remember who you are. And we see that it can feel as though it is a climb that will never ever end. That you can never seem to get your footing or to get a grip. And most certainly, you do not have within what it takes to get to the top. Why you do not have what they have over there, and what they have and what they have, and look at them over there. I have more than them. And you begin to separate, 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 different, different, separate, separate. And with that comes lenses, what some will call the realms and the halls of judgment. We are not going to chastise anyone for any of it. Oh no. It is all part of the party. And so rather than put yourself in your own kind of torture chamber about all of it and burn your own skin, what if you might for a moment take a breath and begin to appreciate who you are? Take a look in the mirror. Look to the light of your eyes. And if you will do this, friends, it only takes a moment or 2 or 3, no more than 5. You will begin to rewire, reordain, reorchestrate your own awareness, consciously aware of your magnificence. And with that, the lenses of suffering will begin to fall away. You might say to us, what about them over there? Are you going to help them? What about them? Look at them over there. They're struggling. Look at them. Why must they struggle? And we say to you, do you want to be the one to remove those gifts from them? Because that is what they need to find their way today, you see. And why would we take away those golden opportunities for them to find their own ladders of light and to climb up, 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 and to shine and rise and to rise and shine? Why would we remove from them what they have chosen for them as opportunities, beautiful opportunities to find their way? This is an infinite experience you are all in. And this particular focus, this live stream focus, this skin suit focus is only but part of the picture. And if that is all you are looking at, that is all you will ever see. But you see, we see that many of you are beginning to see what others cannot yet. And you are beginning to see that maybe, just maybe, just maybe, just might be another way. And indeed there is. Move yourself into greater alignment and harmony with your own magnificence. Do not detour yourselves into their corridors of contempt or chaos or suffering. But if you will begin your own reciprocity agreement with you, the greater part of you, the non-physically focused part of you, and if you will begin to sing out your praises, to declare your I amness, you will shift your reality. And that is the only reality that is the reality that you need to focus upon. As you fortify, as you fortify, as you fortify, as you fortify over and over and over again with your own greater and grander awareness of your magnificence, your light shines a little brighter. And you begin to light up others. And where they have not been able to find their own way, something within them comes to light, comes to life. Sometimes we call it vibrational entrainment. Will you be the leaders, old friends? Will you choose your own magnificence each day? Instead of looking at the other suffering and choosing to jump into that spoiled soup. Because for you it will spoil, but for them, that is necessary. For their own expansion. It is part of that protocol. It might not be for your eyes, and yet you are all forced to look at all of this suffering without any true context. That suffering, what you call suffering, what we call separation, that is necessary for each of you to find your way to you. And once you do, you are so aligned that you see what once before you saw as the suffering, and you see it as the great gift of expanding potential. And you do not want to take that gift away, but you want to shine your light upon it. You want to reach out your hands, yes, hearts, yes. We are not saying to adopt a stance that is not one that is filled with love. We are encouraging you to reconnect with your own magnificence and watch the world around you find their way to theirs. Everyone is given the opportunities to find their way. And not all, to your view, do. But again, that story is incomplete because everyone will find their way. There is no other way. And so, for the ones who are right here, right now, in this moment, right here, right now, you have decided that and declared you are in a state of suffering. We say to you, we love you. You are known unto us. And you have everything within your within. There is not one thing that you require outside of you to reposition your inner lens so that it is shining the light out a little bit differently. And if you are unsure about where to begin, we invite you to place your hands upon your heart. You are not separate from you. And you are not separate from they. And they are not separate from you. They are living different experiences and expressions of it, sovereign in their own way, yes. But you are all part of the all that is all that is all. A unique emanation, yes. And with that, you are all part of the same. And so, That is part of the lens of suffering. The awareness of separation. And that is why we are inviting you, each of you, all of you, to reclaim your own awareness of your own magnificence. When you do that, you become whole, no longer separated. And with that, you will feel greater and grander grace about all of those in different expressions of their own kind of separation. You will hold your light for them while they find their own. It is a divine assignment. And if you find that you are faltering, you find, friends, that you are falling down, the ones who have come to hold the light, to shine it, to rise it, it's all right. Sometimes the tides get a little rough. The waters rise. It is important, friends, for you to have those and them around you who will place their hands upon your shoulders as friends, and they will remind you that you are they and they are you, and together we are us. We love you, old friends. We are going to return into our frequency, but we are ever present, effervescent for this conversation and all others that might come about. We love you. We love you. We love you. We are here and we are forevermore a part of this picture of yous. Lovingly loving is us. Good day.
Just give you a moment. Oh, I got goosebumps.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've returned. Mostly. I'm like 83% back.
That's okay. You take your time. So, Bobby, wow.
Wow.
What a beautiful, unique, well, not unique, unique, 'cause I'm in a different realm still. What a beautiful way to show the truth of what suffering actually is.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
I loved how they said that suffering is what they say, what they call separation from oneself, separation from not only yourself but others. That that we, if we're looking at people that are suffering, we are them and they are us. We're just all having different experiences, different ways of moving through this life, trying to find out who we are, connecting to our own divineness, our own magnificence. Oh, it just makes me breathe easy.
Yeah, I like the best way to end suffering was to end the suffering within yourself. They say that to me all the time.
Yeah.
Don't stop trying to help other people, help yourself and be the example.
Yeah, and watch the ripple, watch your inner light, become the lighthouse for the ones that are looking for guidance, looking for peace, and watch that ripple out into other people's realities, and you will make a difference in the reality that we have on this planet at this time.
Yeah,
Um,
I hear something
yes,
that might be a little controversial. Be the Jesus and what would Jesus do? That's actually what I just heard.
yeah, for sure. And they call it a beautiful opportunity to find your own way. And what a lovely way to describe suffering. Instead of always bringing it down to the lower vibration, why don't we always bring it up to a higher vibration and see the beauty in it instead of the actual struggle in the struggle.
I agree.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it's not always a bad thing. Before we came on,
Yeah.
I was texting with my cousin, and she was talking about because she just quit her job to start school, and she's a single mom of two. So she's terrified. And she said, my anxiety is going crazy today. So I told her what I thought anxiety was. I said, no, your solar plexus chakra, which is your power chakra, has been ignited and it's pushing into your healing chakra, but you don't have to know how to heal yourself yet. That's what's going on. And she said, oh, I like that better. I said,
Right?
well, yeah, duh.
So when you say that, it brings something up in me that says it's a different, it's a we've all been programmed to think one thing. And when you say that, it makes me think, well, there has to be some sort of reprogramming or decoding or a new perspective. If we all were able to think of things in the higher version, the higher vibration of what anxiety is or depression or suffering or whatever, those low anger, grief. Um, what a beautiful planet we would live on if we all were able
Oh,
and taught to look at it in the beauty of it.
yeah. I know people who their psychic energy comes to them as a form of depression. Like, what the F? But I get
Wow.
pain as part of my psychic energy.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I've something's been going on here for most of our talk, and then the us came in. I was like, I don't feel nothing now. It's awesome. So it wasn't that I was aching there. It was that what we were talking about, they're like, they were grabbing it here to let me know so I could expand it into something within my head to show me what was going on.
Right.
Depression, but yeah, I've not suffered from the type of depression that puts you in bed. I've not suffered from that. I've been sad, and in this last little while, I've had odd moments of sadness,
Mhm.
but I've had the balance of moments of elation, which is just, oh my God. It's like an angel just went, and you're, it's awesome. I mainly get them outside. But anyway, yeah, I have seen people where I know it's their clairsentience. They are in a dump, they're screaming, they're yelling. I know a particular person with their depression that gets very vocal, and I have to tell them, "You're clairsentient. That is what is going on here. It's not that all because you have to look for a reason why you're so sad." And
Always.
this person was an adolescent female. So, she got 10 reasons right there just for being sad. Ooh, I'll water. Anywho, so within that idea, I think that we look at things, we were told, okay, it must be this.
Mhm.
Yeah, because my brain goes right to in the early 1900s, we females in Canada were still being imprisoned for being precocious.
Yes.
Like, what the? So that
Mhm.
can be seen as something that is being, because if I'm being precocious, I am moving beyond what I've been told to do, and something else is moving me forward.
Right.
Like when I say, I didn't mean to say that sentence, but there it is. It's out there because they wanted me to say it. That sort of idea. So I'm being precocious. Oh, I still would have been locked up any other time, but now I'm probably was. Golly sakes. Anywho, so yes, Heidi, I completely and absolutely agree. Everything we see, we have decided, oh, it means this. What if it
Yes.
means that? Well, just you or me, Sue. Just and Heidi on her way. That we could, if you and I both went to the fourth floor and said, okay, this is how I spend my day. They'd be like, take everything in this little cup.
Absolutely.
And now just do
Absolutely.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Yeah,
different
it's
ideas
all
what reality
perspective.
are. It is perspective because there's no way in heck anyone could ever tell me you are not channeling something larger and bigger than us. And there's no way in heck anyone could ever tell me I am not talking to the dead
Exactly.
because I am.
Exactly. No
Yeah,
matter what, right? So,
no matter
yeah,
what.
different time, different space, different country right now. That would be seen as something very different, and we would be treated very different, right? And
Possibly even burnt still.
possibly. So,
Yeah.
perspective is vital, and this idea that this idea that we have to have a reason to feel how we feel
Yeah.
without honoring the language of our body is it's such a huge topic. Maybe another time, maybe we do another talk, because
I kind of think this
yeah,
will go to that.
I think so, because we instead of just honoring our experiences for what they are, or who we are for what we are, we're constantly pointing a finger at something outside of ourselves that has caused us to feel this way. So first of all, it's
Mhm.
totally disempowering. It's not taking
It's
any
separation,
responsibility. It's
Yeah,
separation,
it is
100%
right?
separation.
separation.
It's the
Yeah.
blame, it's the not taking responsibility. The moment that I started taking full responsibility for my complete health was, for a long time I was sort of regarded as a real renegade, because why wasn't I following the traditional methods of allopathic medicine, or the traditional approach? Hey, not that I for each and to their own. I
Mhm.
honor that for people. It wasn't for me. Um, but I've sort of lost my thought on that. But anyways, we just get into spaces where we believe a thing has to be a certain way. We believe that our definition of how we're feeling this way is because of this person or that person or this or that. And some of these models, these societal models, reinforce that,
I
right? They
agree.
reinforce it
I
completely.
so completely, and I think all three of us could actually speak to this one topic that does that. It's menopause. I can't believe
Yes.
how many of my friends are say, I have hot flashes, so I'm going to go get a medicine. Like, let's look at why you're having so many hot flashes. What do
Yes.
hot flashes mean? We're all doing this. It's natural. It's supposed to happen. If you say, no, body, you shut the F up, what are you shutting up? Yes,
Hmm.
a little discomfort. Yes, I do have hot flashes, and I actually will go, woohoo! I got my fans, and I'm making a thing. And I know if I'm having a hot flash, something's charged me,
Hmm.
because that's all it. I can have a hot flash looking for something. If I'm looking for something, I'm having an emotional component, so I can't find it. All of a sudden, boom, hot flash, hot flash, hot flash. Now that I've identified it, I get so much fewer of them, which bugs me because I'm cold. Honestly. I live on Vancouver Island. It's
You're the only
freezing.
menopausal woman that will say that.
I know. They're like, "I want to." I'm like, "I love my hot flash." I'll even go, "Ooh, I need a hot flash right now," and I try to conjure one. I'll even like, and I can kind of heat it up, but I can't get the full of the hot flash. But I think menopause is an enlightenment. It's going
Mm.
from maiden to crone, and
Yes.
I honestly think that the menopause is a physical dump that is actually an information dump. And it's yeah.
We're gonna do a conversation.
Oh, yeah, because you
And
guys have a
we're gonna
menopause
bring
expert.
in we're gonna
Yeah,
bring in a guest speaker on this, because this is a
can't
huge
wait.
topic that I'm so excited to deep dive into. And I think a lot of our audience members would appreciate a different view, a different take, a different perspective of what this menopause
Yeah,
season of life
hurts. Yeah,
is all
yeah.
about.
Because it's an
We will.
excellent in my opinion, it's an excellent example that almost anyone can relate to. Because even men, as my
Mhm,
husband calls
mhm.
hot flashes, personal summers. Are you having a personal summer? It's like, "Do you wanna get smacked? I don't know." Like, good lord, man. But but yeah, it's one of those things where I actually believe this is a coming of age thing we all go through, and we all try to stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wacky. And no offense to the males, but I think that's why, because they have been our authority when it comes to medicine for a very, very long time. And when you're looking at something through the window, you make your own conjecture about it.
Yes.
So they look at menopause, pregnancy, periods, everything through a window. I honestly think you have to experience it to know it, but that is just my opinion.
There's
But
the
your menopause
suffering.
expert is
There's
a vagina holder, correct? Vagina
But there,
holder.
you have to suffer in order to have that, and to order to truly be intimately aware with what that experience entails.
You have to be
You
part of
have
it.
to go through the suffering. You have to go through the
Yes.
suffering of birth. So it's, again, it's so how many, well, I don't like to generalize, but most of the women I know,
Mhm.
probably all of the women I know, will not sit and contemplate the suffering they experienced as a result of labor, childbirth,
I do.
whatever. They don't spend a lot of time lamenting it. I mean, I understand
Oh,
if
true.
there's
Yeah.
tragedy or whatever, that's very different. But mostly the suffering of that is,
Mm.
and I understand it's short-lived, but because of the birthing, the creation that comes out of that, the transformation of that experience, we tend to focus on the transformative experience, which is the child,
A
right?
child. Yeah, and that's why you have more
So,
than one. I
Yeah.
remember
right?
looking at my ex-husband during the second labor and going, "Now I remember." And he laughed, he was driving. Fucker.
But a necessary part of the process, that, and again, you said something, Bobby, before we got on the call. You said we didn't come to be human to be comfortable. You didn't
No,
even come here to be comfortable. And that's
that's the
so
fairy
true.
realm. And even in the fairy realm, there's worms. That's what they tell me. But yeah, no, it's absolutely true. We came here to learn something. And
Yes.
whenever you learn something, like when you go to school, you're opening things up for yourself. You're
Mhm,
making new discoveries. It's a little bit uncomfortable. For a second, you feel stupid. For
mhm.
another second, you don't. It's just the way the world works. And yeah. And I honestly believe we here have made ourselves so incredibly comfortable. Like we are ridiculously comfortable. We have more food than we need. We have more
Mhm.
leisure than we need. I have at least four different places that I can sit where I could just actually melt in and not have to move again until I have to pee, that sort of thing. So we have made ourselves incredibly comfortable in all ways. And
Yeah.
that means when something uncomfortable happens, we freak out. Well, the last 5 years have been very uncomfortable and people are freaking out.
Yes.
And I think they're freaking out because, well, yeah, because they got comfortable in their illusion, in their
Yes.
allegory of the cave, and what
Mhm.
they thought they were here to do. Yeah, were you really here to go to school, be sad, 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 and then marry the first person who said yes, and then suffer through that marriage regardless of how you feel? And
Mhm.
then suffer through a job regardless of how you feel, so you can get to a point of retirement so you can just sit and stare for a little while. It's just weird what we think is like the fun thing to do here.
Mhm.
It's so strange when there's so much to do here. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
And why would we choose? I mean, because people would say, "Well, that's how it has to be. It has to be that way. I have to do that. I have to go to school. I have to, right? I have to suffer. How am I supposed to live on this planet without suffering, right?
yeah.
I need money. I need this. I need." So we're constant. I get it. I did it too. I get it.
Mhm.
But when you get to a point where you start to sort of broaden and expand and not be so attached to what you have to do because everybody else is marching to that drum,
Mhm.
then you start to, it's interesting. It's like an individuation from the crowd a little bit, but at the same time, there's a greater connectedness that is created with all living systems.
Yeah, and to
Well,
to
because
actually
now you're aligned.
Right.
yeah, well, it's
Mm,
it yeah. It's a when we experience things, a part of us says, "I need to react this way." Because that
mm,
is what how I'm conditioned to react. When this happens, I need to do this.
yes.
And if we change that narrative for ourselves, oh, okay, I hear chaos ensues. That's actually what I heard in my head. Chaos
It
ensues.
does.
Yeah, because it's actually kind of the rules of order.
Yes, it is.
We all do this in order to oh gosh, it goes right back to the beginning of it all in my brain. In the beginning of it all in my brain, they show organized religions coming in to keep people in control,
Mhm,
to control themselves because people weren't able to control themselves. Or were
mhm,
they? And the powers that be didn't like that the people had individual control of themselves.
mhm, mhm.
That might be it too.
That's probably it, isn't it?
It's like,
Yeah.
trying to control the outcome, trying to control the divine connection, the sovereignty, wanting everybody to sort of have the same idea of how life goes. And I think we're at a different, the new earth, I think, is really the last 5 years have all been forcing us to look at, maybe, maybe we need to do things a little bit differently. And it always starts right here. Like, never
I
mind
agree.
tinkering over here. We need to start right here.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so in preparation, I watched a priest. He was a priest. He had the collar. That's a priest, right? Has
Yes.
the dog collar. There's my ignorance right there. And Nishi. And the Nishi one we discussed actually before we came on a little bit, but the priest one, he actually, because he started talking about Christ,
Okay.
because in there, Christ suffered for you, so you do not have to suffer. Ugh.
Interesting.
Even as I say it, I'm like, oh, that's my point, actually, because they created a place where you couldn't access God within yourself.
Right.
You actually had to join the institution. You had to find the leader of that institution, mainly someone who might not be your gender. And that person is going to tell you what your God is saying.
Right.
And that goes, because when someone comes to me for a reading and I say things to them, I say, you have to remember, this is going through a Bobby filter.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the pure words. These are the way that I can interpret the words and give them to you. So that I cannot give them exactly what grandma says. I can somewhat. If grandma's really, really, really good, I might get 1 or 2 sentences exactly right, but I'm going to get impressions. I'm going to get feelings. I'm going to get memories, and you're going to put it all together with grandma. I am just the conduit. So if I was the priest or the spiritual leader for someone, I would not be their channel to God.
No.
I would be
No.
their decipherment.
Yes. Yes.
Decipherment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Decipher.
Translator?
You're the bridge, right? You're the connector. You're
But I
the
don't even need to be there. I can just hear
no.
so much more clearly. Like, I just taught my first group on Sunday, and they were all getting psychic impressions with each other. It just took me going, okay, so this is a psychic impression you're getting, actually acknowledging it to them, and them going, oh, because people don't realize
Right.
we do need each other, but we don't need each other.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? Like, I need you too so much, but all I need to do is be within your presence.
Mm.
You don't need to say anything or add anything or do anything to try to make me feel better. Just being near you does, because of the unspoken energy. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
that
Yeah.
suffering, I think, comes from, yeah, if you guys were trying to make me feel better, that would make
Yes.
me think that they pity me. There's
Right.
something to be
Right.
sympathized with here. Oh, no. But if you guys just go, "Hey, Bobby, how you doing?" And then just do your thing, I'm like, "Oh, I'm good." They don't notice anything. I'm not sad. I can just be this with them. Huh, didn't know I was gonna go there, but I did.
That's
Yeah.
fascinating, though. That's a really interesting point. I'll have to contemplate. I'll have to
Yeah, because we can so much create suffering within others. I never tell people I feel sorry for them unless I don't like them. And so I
yes,
never do.
no.
There's very few
No, no.
people I don't like. I actually like it pretty much everyone.
Right.
Pretty much
Yeah,
everyone, because there's an element, because I'm not perfect. So why would I dislike someone for not being perfect too?
of
Might as well
course.
smack myself in the face.
Yeah, of
But
course. Because you're gonna stub your toe over it.
yes. Oh,
Um,
and the Ubermensch. You are becoming an Ubermensch, Heidi. The
What is
Ubermensch
an Ubermensch?
takes the thing that is the problem and triumphs through the problem.
oh, beautiful.
They learn and they move and they are. There are tons of them in movies. Rocky was used as an example of an Ubermensch. Somebody who
Okay.
everyone said, "You can't do this. This and this and this are against you. What? That's a stupid dream." And he's like, "Oh, really? Okay, I'll do it then, because you told me all the things I couldn't do." And actually went above it and beyond it, because it translates pain to power is actually the note I made, which just makes me think of you,
I
because
love
you are
that.
in the middle, in the midst. You're in the heightened state of it.
of the
You're at the top of
Ubermensch.
your rainbow of pain. There's a pot of gold if you and it's a nice slide down. I'm coming towards my pot of gold right now within my pain messaging, so that's why I say, hey, follow me.
I like that idea of Ubermensch. Ubermensch? Is that what you said?
Ubermensch. Yeah, I thought that was
Ubermensch?
Ubermensch.
I
Ubermensch.
hope my intention is that I hope that everybody that watches this has yeah, right? That transformation of the suffering of the pain and to use that as they are able to. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It's an evolution, but to use that to transform.
Yeah,
And
it's
know
like
that you know that you can actually do it. Even maybe some people, maybe just even know that, hey, that's even a possibility, rather than
Mhm.
thinking this is where I'm at, this is what it's going to be, sort of really becoming immersed in that, what I would call sort of more the victim mentality as opposed to the victor. We can always choose victim or victor. So which are we going to choose? Whether we want to be victorious over our circumstances or become victim onto those circumstances. Yeah,
absolutely. It's exactly the way you look at things. Like
it
in
is.
2016, I stopped being able to eat. I used to say stop being able to eat. That's actually I used to end stop there. I stopped being able to eat pastas. I stopped being able to eat breads. I stopped being able to eat processed foods. I couldn't eat the protein powders in smoothies. So to me, everything I couldn't eat was something I shouldn't eat. They were actually forcing me into an enlightenment food wise, if that makes sense. I do
Oh
not
yeah.
know. I always say it, I've never eaten meat. Well, I ate meat until I was 11, then I made the choice. But so I don't know if I can eat meat. I don't know if it's okay. That's how I put that. So, but I know everything from the ground I can eat.
Yep.
Cabbage, I got a little bit of a thing, but that's, cabbage. But I don't have a problem with cauliflower, so it's like it's not all cruciferous vegetables. I can't say that word. Cruciferous? Is that did I say
You
that
did
correctly?
that.
I
You
did.
you
Look at me
got it.
go.
You nailed it.
So yeah, I used to think it was horrible. I used to sit at my plate and cry because I couldn't eat everything on my plate. I was taught as a child. I could not leave the table to eat everything on my plate. Holy crap, I just made that connection just right this second, actually. Just right
Wow.
this second I used to sit and listen to MASH as a kid because I wouldn't drink my milk or I wouldn't finish everything on my I didn't do that to my kids. You
No.
eat till you're full and then you move on with your life. That's what I would say. Yeah, because I had a lot of food issues. Anywho, it's just kind of funny how they took the food away from me. Anyway, but they didn't. They just said, no, not that.
Right.
This. And as soon as I said, oh, you guys are doing something for me, then it got so much better. And then it's like, this is my lunch. It's
Mhm.
strawberries, bananas, iron. It's all these wonderful things. Yeah.
So once you became clear and you understood there was purpose to what seemed like something was taking something away from you, but you
Yep.
understood purpose, then you could move through that suffering
Yeah.
into a higher and look at it from a higher perspective.
Yeah. And then I was actually able to use it. Because
Brilliant.
Yeah.
before that, I was tired all the time. I was weak. I was all these things. I created my own narrative of what I was. And
Mm,
because it was and I did blame others. I blamed outside stuff. I blamed the
yeah,
stress that another human being was
Yep.
causing me. I blamed
yeah.
their actions, which was pretty much like saying, I have no arms. I can't do nothing. Everything's everyone else's fault. What a silly thing to do. But yeah, it's entirely, and when I tell my family now, no, no, no. It's messaging. It's actually my psychic energy reverting back on me. I'm fine. I think they're half and half. They didn't want to worry about me because everyone thought I was going to die. And then half of them are like, ugh, she's pretending nothing's wrong with her. She's getting absolutely no help. She's going to die. They go back and forth on it.
Mhm,
Neither is
mhm.
going to happen. I'm just going to keep on moving and grooving, and they're going to give me this one and that one, and I think I'm right about the wings in my back. So, not taking my back stuff away either. I believe that the pain in my upper back has to do with the wings that are growing in my back. Because I see wings as ethereal. I don't see them as actual, like a
Physical.
I
Yeah.
don't see them as
Yeah.
physical. I see them as something that
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
unless you're a bird, then your
No.
wings are real. I wouldn't tell you different. I'm not gonna gaslight you birds.
No, we're not here to gaslight the flying
Just
kingdom.
sit under trees. Your rings aren't real. That would be odd. I think I will do that as I'm older. Yeah. Anyway.
So I would really, I really think that this topic was hopefully helpful. I hope that it is able to like resonate with somebody. If it doesn't, leave it. If it does, great. Um, and I would really like to invite our community or anybody watching this that if you've got comments, if you would like to share your experiences, if you've got questions,
Mhm.
put them in the chat below. And if you are a person who has questions about another topic unrelated to this that you would like us to discuss and bring through the United Souls and have them answer your question, we definitely recommend that. Please put it in the comments below. We're open to all conversations, and we'll be doing this more and more and more and putting together a library that hopefully will be able to support people through this journey. So thank you, Bobby. I thank you so much for being here. I thank you, Sue. Love
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
And Bobby, where can people find you?
I would say the best place to find me is on my website. You can find me
I
on
just put the
Facebook,
QR
you can
code.
find me on Instagram, and you can find me on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Bobby Roundtree Born Medium, Vancouver Islands Medium. My Instagram and my Facebook are under the same name, Bobby Roundtree Born Medium. And you have been putting my website on there, which you can actually go
Oh, let me
BobbyRoundtreeBornMedium.ca, and boom,
let
there I
me
am.
do it again. There
And
we
I
go.
love the .ca. I have been told don't do .ca because people think that your website's not good enough. That grosses me out because .ca is Canada.
Yay, Canada.
I mean, my
Yay.ca.
yeah, what's better than Canada? I love Canada. Of course, how many countries have I been to? 3. So that's the
That's
truth. 3.
awesome.
Wow.
That's
Well,
brilliant, Bobby.
thank you, Bobby, and thank you, Heidi. I really appreciate the time and the conversation, and thank you, everybody, for joining us. And yeah, looking forward to many, many, many more conversations.
And Sue, do you just want to quickly, I've got this here. This is, did you want to explain this?
I would love to just to take a moment here. We have put together a beautiful, powerful program called Quantum Leap Legacy Program. Directly, we've been working on this directly with the United Souls, so their collective is involved in every step of this creation. And so, yeah, there's a QR code here on the screen. If you are a leader, if you are a luminary, if you you're a healer, you're a light worker, and you want to get to your next level, you're psychic, you're medium, whatever. We work with metaphysicians of all types who are the leaders amongst leaders who want to get to their next level and work directly with United Souls. 3-month program, outstanding results, guaranteed. You are going to get such outstanding information from the United Souls, and will put you into an entirely new vibrational experience. So yeah, hit the QR code. And yes, Bobby.
May I add to that?
Yes,
Because I
please.
didn't know the United Souls till I met you guys. And I tell you, once you meet the United Souls, there's no going back. They are with you. And you
They
know
are.
they are with you. It makes such a difference in your life. So yeah. So just wanted
Thank
to
you for
post
that.
that a little
Thank
bit
you
more
for
with
that
that.
feedback.
Thank
Yes,
you.
I appreciate that very much.
That's absolutely true. Yeah. I was going to click on the QR
Okay.
code myself, but I thought, oh, that might take me out of here like just suddenly, and then I won't know how to go back.
All right, everybody, we love you. Thank you so much for joining us, and please stay tuned for our next recording, which will be coming out shortly. And we love you all. Take care.
Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.